Gundam.tk presents Advanced Grade Khronos. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert 184, 2Rs2Bs from GundamReviews.net, and as the second generation of Gundam Age continues, we got a return villain in the form of Galette piloting the Khronos to go along with the Zedora, and now it's time to check it out in its only model form so far, the 1144th Advanced Grade. March 2012 release, 700 yen. And it's number 14 in the Advanced Grade Age series. There are a lot of predecessors to this kit where we have the old school Zetis, this is Advanced Grade, that also came out in high grade before the Zetis R came out, to be followed up by his brother Galette, who is going to end up getting out of the Zetis R and into the Zedora, which has an Advanced Grade, which this one is going to be very similar to. You'll notice that this one just has a little bit of black to go along with the red and that clear green. And of course it has a very, very beautiful high grade with tons of colors in it. One can only hope that we'll be getting the Khronos to join them as well. For a look around the box, you can see the name there, and there it is, all painted up by a pro with tons of colors in there, orange and yellow to go along with clear green and black. That's not going to be happening here right out of the box. You can see that it is going to be armed with the Khronos gun there, very similar to the Zedora, and it also has the Khronos cannons, which are up on his shoulders. Very different and very impressive. Some in-game stats. And there's the pilot Galette, who certainly did not do well after the time skip, searching for revenge with Flit after all these years. Play the game, or so they're telling you, and down here it's the block build system of more interest for us model builders. You can see that it's all just going to be black on black. With the Zedora, at least we got a little bit of black to show through under the red. This one it looks like it's going to lose that, although it does look like it has a clear green part for the chest. Inside the box, you're going to be getting clear green to go along with the gauging chip, one bag full of black parts, it looks like 4 plates there to go along with the Tri-Age card. Remember the manual is built into the box itself. To the plates that upon first inspection seem to be pleasant surprise, because you can see on the A1 plate that this is listed as being both for the Zedora and the Khronos, and you can see here when this is overlaid that this part would be only on the Zedora, whereas otherwise everything's the same. The B plate is labeled as being unique to the Khronos, but you can see when you overlay this that the chest and body is going to be identical along with the arms and the part there for the head. The only thing different is that you're going to have a different gun down here, with the huge plus being that this Khronos gun, unlike almost every other advanced grade gun we've seen, actually has some depth to it and isn't 2D. But here's where I'm pleasantly surprised, because whereas with this one you're going to be getting an A2, 3, and 4 for the Zedora, which is going to give you a very skinny look overall, considering that this is more back toe-ish. You can just see that you're going to be getting bigger legs there to go along with the feet, and you're also going to have the cannons built onto this, so when this one actually says that it's a unique thing just to the Khronos, they're actually right. And here's the C2 plate, which is going to give you the other half of the legs, the wings that are going to go onto the back, and again, that other cannon. Same CL4 here for the clear green, would love to put that under blacklight and see how that works. If you were to put a silver seal under it, similar to what the high grade did for the Zedora, I'm sure that that would really, really pop, even more so than it already does. You'll also be getting gauging chip 14 and a pretty cool looking card here for Tri-Age, which is the same cover art as we've seen on the box. And when you look at the plates beside each other, you can see that the B plate is going to be a gray as opposed to the black that you are going to get. It's certainly not going to stand out as much as it does on the Zedora, but at least here you've got a little bit of effort on Bandai's part to make this a little bit more color differentiated than something like the AG Zetis. With a little help putting him together, you can see that he's going to look pretty cool as a mobile suit, and that's thanks in no small part to the fact that he's got really good proportions, starting with down in the legs where you can see the back toe influence, and up on the shoulders where he's just going to have a lot more interesting and eye-catching weapons thanks to the shoulders compared to the Zedora. Being an advanced grade though, remember that the legs are not going to move and the arms are going to go around, although you can see that the backpack is going to interfere. These can fit on there a little bit loose, but if you plug them in the right way, they should fit, and the weapons are going to move around, so this guy has a huge range of articulation compared to the average advanced grade. The Khronos gun is going to look great because, as I mentioned, it's 3D as opposed to 2D. The only problem being is that on the inside, when you plug it into the inside of the hand, pretty much you're always going to be looking at it this way, and you're just going to see that ugly hollow part. Still, it is a big improvement over the 2D one. I'm sure you could fill that in, although of course a high grade would take care of that for you. When you do that, also you're going to notice that these guns up here have the hollow sides on the inside. Sometimes it's always preferable if you can, even if the instructions tell you to put the hollow ones on the inside, that you swap them, but this isn't going to be possible here for either the gun or the cannons. With the cannons able to move in and out and up and down though, and the fact that you've got a good range of motion, I suppose, with the Khronos gun, you can move the arms up and you're actually going to have one of the more dynamic of the advanced grades, although remember, that's not saying all that much. Comparison time, next to the Zedora, its sister or brother suit, if you want to call it that, you can see that the legs are just going to be a lot more substantial there on the Khronos in every way. The waist sections are pretty much identical, as are the chest, except with this one you are going to have a little bit of that gray inner frame showing through. I suppose you have the same thing here, but it's just not that noticeable. And where you have the red here around the gray, here you're just going to have black around the gray, so it sort of gets lost in the details. Also, you're going to have differences back here on the wingtips, because this one is going to allow the cannons to be attached on. Here's Dezel's original mobile suit, the Zetis, and this is in its advanced grade form, and you can see that the colors are going to be quite different, with this one being a very light gray, or a dark gray if you want to call it that, compared to the actual black of the Khronos. The king of the advanced grades though still has to go to the Gafran just because it's actually going to have two colors compared to the mobile suits that you've just seen. Next to the H2, which despite the fact that it's still large for an EFF suit, you can see that the Khronos is going to have the advantage in height, although for wingspan you would give it for the H2, but in overall power and looks, certainly the Khronos has the edge. Final verdict, I've got to say that this guy was a lot of fun to put together. It is sort of cool that they have the gray and the black, and the fact that it has as many differences in the plates from the Zedora, much more than I expected, and that green part there is sort of what really brings it to life. Plus the fact that you've actually got a 3D weapon and cannons that can move around. This guy has a lot more playability than the average Veigan boss suit, so something like the Gafran I certainly do recommend in AG just to build up the size of your army. With this guy, unless we have a high grade on the horizon, certainly the best we can get for now, and it's a very nice placeholder. In the end though, I wonder what kind of grades or alternatives we will be getting, because you'd think that a high grade would be on the horizon. You will only have to remold a few plates from the Zedora, although it is more than I thought going in, and it certainly would be nice since Dezel was such a main antagonist, or such a good main antagonist, when he was an insane child, and now he's grown up and seems like he's just as insane. But it's going to be interesting to see his arc play out with Flit, and I wonder if either of them will last on to the third generation. Anyway, everybody, why don't you let me know what you think of the verdict, the video, the mobile suit, the character, and, of course, anything else with a comment down below. Always love to hear from you, and stay tuned for lots more reviews, and hopefully in a high grade of this in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. Can't wait to pose you next to the Farsha.